I'm Joe Oliver. I'm a clinical psychologist and an ACT therapist, and today I'm going to give you an overview of the concept of acceptance, which, as the name suggests, is a fairly fundamental principle in acceptance and commitment therapy. In our everyday language, we often think of acceptance as the sense of resignation or giving up, but in the context of ACT, acceptance takes on a really different meaning. It's about opening up to our internal experiences and allowing them to exist as they are, without trying to change them or control them. So you can see the purpose of acceptance and ACT is not to encourage unnecessary suffering, but to enable us to take steps towards our chosen values. And it's about being willing to make room for our difficult experiences so that we can move forward in life in a way that aligns with what truly matters to us. So acceptance is a deliberate act. It's a choice. And an ACT practitioner might ask you questions like, would you be willing to make room for this difficult experience so that you can take steps towards what matters to you most? They might be really interested in your values as well, the things you really care about, your sense of purpose and meaning. And the reason for that is because values and acceptance go hand in hand. Acceptance is functional. It's in the service of active steps towards our values. It's not about resigning ourselves to suffering, but about creating the space to live a life guided by our deepest priorities. Let me give you a metaphor, one of my favorites for how this sort of works. So imagine you're at the beach and you've got a nice big beach ball and you're out in the water swimming, and you decide you're going to try and push the beach ball underwater. And you sort of manage to do that relatively successfully, and you can get it under there, but you notice that it takes a lot of effort to keep it underwater, and a lot of energy and a lot of focus. And the further and deeper down it goes, the more energy and focus it requires. And it certainly means that anything else is out of the question. You can't be swimming, you can't be passing it around with your friends, you can't be playing or anything else. The beach ball is all that matters. And this is like acceptance, or the opposite of when we're trying to get rid of our experiences and push them down out of our awareness. It takes effort, it takes focus, we can do it, but it means it's really difficult to do other things in our lives that require that effort, energy, and focus. We can't connect with the people around us, we can't go out and enjoy our lives, we can't do our values because we're just so focused on pushing our emotions down, whatever they might be. Emotions and feelings we don't like, anxiety, sadness, anger, whatever those are. So from that metaphor, I'm going to invite you to do a really simple exercise to kind of experience the power of acceptance. And my invitation is to do this along with me now. So if you'd be willing, see if you can find a comfy place to sit. If you're not already, sit in maybe an upright and alert position. And you can either do this with your eyes closed or open. But just to begin with, just to enter into our body and inhabit that space, I'm going to ask you to just take a few deep breaths. And as you're doing this, draw your awareness around your breathing and notice that experience. Now bring to mind a difficult experience that you've been trying to avoid or control. Perhaps not the biggest thing ever you've been going through, but just something to be willing to practice with now. And notice the thoughts, the feelings and sensations associated with this experience. And rather than trying to push it away, see if you can open up and make room for the experience. Just allowing it to be there without fighting. Just for a moment, just now. And if you could imagine that this experience or feeling had something to say, perhaps a message, something it wanted to communicate to you, what would that message be? As you're doing this, see if you can observe how your body and your mind respond when you adopt this stance of willingness and acceptance. And just notice how when we let go of the unnecessary struggle and stop fighting with what's already there, we actually might find a sense of respite. Acceptance reduces the chances of compounding our problems, and it frees us up to have more energy to focus on what truly matters. By practicing acceptance, we can create the space in our lives to be guided by our values, and we engage in meaningful actions, even in the presence of really difficult thoughts or emotions, rather than getting caught up in this endless cycle of avoidance and struggle. So remember, acceptance and ACT is not about resignation or giving up. It's about making a deliberate choice to be open and open up to our experiences in order that we can take steps towards the life that we truly want. It's important to say acceptance is not a destination that we arrive at and get there and go, box ticked, acceptance done. It's more of a journey. It's a thing that we progress forward with. If you're struggling with acceptance, or there's some part of your experience you find really hard, it might be the case you need a bit of extra help. And a therapist or a coach could be a really good person to help guide you along that part of your journey, giving you the kind of tools you need to live that more fulfilling life. I really encourage you to keep exploring this powerful concept and see how far you can take it along with your journey. Acceptance is an absolute game changer. I really hope this has been useful in some way. And if you've got any questions, feel free to get in touch with me.